Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
Hey, we're going to talk about our health today and focus in on something that's kind of new. In fact, I tried to look it up in the dictionary. It's not there yet, but you can find this word online. I just said orthosomnia, and then I wrote definition, and it comes up. So it's people who have kind of an obsession that becomes unhealthy after a while with the data that they get from their trackers that they wear on their wrist or their smartwatches. I want to confess I have a fitness tracker that I've had probably almost 3 years now. I love it. And yes, the first thing I do when I wake up is to see how many hours I slept, how much of that time was I in deep sleep, how much I was in REM, which is, when you're dreaming, how much was light sleep, how many times I was restless. It's very interesting. It really is the first thing I do when I wake up.
But I've got a question because I don't have one of those devices. How widespread are they? Are they as widespread as, say, smartphones are?
Oh, no, of course not. Yeah. You can usually tell if someone has one. There are some fitness trackers that have really big round faces on them. I bought mine because it was really slim and sleek. It didn't look like I was a nerd so much when I was wearing it. But yeah, it tells me what my heart rate is all the time, how many calories I've burned, how many minutes of exercise I've gotten that particular day. It's kind of fun. But the sleep portion in particular is interesting to me because I don't sleep well.
Okay, very good. Fair enough. Okay. So, I'm going to kind of let you tell us all about this thing because I don't really use a fitness...
I know you don't have one.
Yeah, I don't have a fitness tracker myself. I've resisted getting one because I just don't want to get too obsessed with numbers. But that's kind of what this article is all about, because if you let yourself get too obsessed with those numbers, it might cause you to lose sleep. And that's what we're talking about. So, hey, let's get to it, everybody. Let's not let our smartwatch ruin our sleep. Let's read the entire contents of our lesson now one time.
Modern life often means being surrounded by numbers, especially if you wear a fitness tracker or smartwatch. But while these devices can help us comprehend our bodies, they can also create problems. A new condition called orthosomnia arises from an unhealthy obsession with the data given to us by our smart devices. Among their other uses, fitness trackers can monitor and present a wide range of data relating to the wearer's sleep cycle. People can then recall the data from storage and chart it over time. However, there are two crucial ways this can go wrong. For one thing, it's hard to tell if the data collected is accurate. For another, the trackers often present their data without thorough context. It's easy for users to misinterpret it and draw the wrong conclusions. Incorrect conclusions about unreliable data result in unnecessary worry. Ironically, this worry leads people to sleep less. The more anxiety someone has about their sleep, the harder it is for them to sleep. This creates a vicious cycle that interferes with people's daily lives, causing them to suffer high anxiety, poor sleep, and fatigue. What's worse, some experience poor concentration and even insomnia. A primary cause of this condition is that people trust the data given by their devices more than their own bodies. Doctors advise people affected by orthosomnia to take it easy and not obsess about the numbers their devices are giving them. Instead, it's better to remember the fundamental elements of good sleep. A consistent routine that allows for adequate sleep will reliably return good results. People should also spend about an hour relaxing before going to bed. Handy as smart devices can be, they're not always beneficial. Understanding their limitations stops them from becoming a burden instead of a useful tool.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's discuss the contents of today's lesson. We're actually giving you a suggestion as our title today. Don't let your smartwatch ruin your sleep. Yes, sleep is important. And yes, you have every right to own and use a smartwatch, but you're not supposed to let it ruin your sleep, okay? Because you need that sleep to be healthy. It would be kind of counterproductive if you use a smartwatch and then you kind of get unhealthy.
I don't know anybody who has this particular condition, orthosomnia. It hasn't ever affected my sleep. I just like to see how many hours I slept, according to my tracker, matches how I feel when I wake up. So it's kind of fun that way. Anyway, yeah, don't let anything ruin your sleep. If something's ruined, it's no longer good. Maybe somebody has destroyed your favorite toy. They ruined your toy. Or maybe the rain ruined your birthday. You were going to go on a picnic with friends, and then the rain came and it ruined it. So something that either destroys something physically or changes the circumstances so much that it interrupts some sort of activity or pleasure that you're trying to take part in. So don't let your smartwatch ruin your sleep. Even before I got my fitness tracker, though, Tom, I was using my smartphone, and there was a sleep app that was recording my sleep. So I've been doing this for a while. I like it.
I guess you're used to it. But yeah, I'm kind of resistant to let technology take total control of my life here. But, to each their own.
Hey, you're on Facebook all the time. I'm not.
True, yeah. So I guess you have to limit it in some areas, but not in others. But here in the first paragraph it says, modern life often means being surrounded by numbers, especially if you wear a fitness tracker or smartwatch. So yes, in our modern lives, of course, we're surrounded by numbers and statistics and likes and various posts that you make on social media and stuff like that. So yes, the numbers are important. How many followers do you have on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram or whatever? A lot of people take that stuff quite seriously. And yes, you can take this even further by wearing a fitness tracker or smartwatch, which you actually use, Stephanie. I haven't gotten one myself, although I have to admit I've thought about it before, but so far I have not made that commitment.
Yeah, at Christmas they were having a sale, so I decided to get one for my sister. I thought she'd enjoy it. She's married to someone who's really healthy and is always the same weight. He's never gained an ounce. He's very healthy. And I thought, I think, I'll get that for her. She'll enjoy, getting back into shape. She just had a baby. So anyway, they're kind of fun. So this new condition, again, it's not in the dictionary yet. It might be next year. This orthosomnia. Ortho means correct and somnia means sleep. So correct sleep. Some people get obsessed with it. It's unhealthy to be obsessed about anything. If you're obsessed with something, it's something that you think about constantly and you just don't want to do anything but think about that one thing. Maybe you're obsessed with a guy you like or a girl you like, and that's all you can think about. Maybe you're obsessed with a video game, and all you want to do is play that game. Those are unhealthy obsessions. Obsession here is a noun. And you want to make sure that you don't get obsessed about anything, really. Even good things. Once you're obsessed, it goes too far. So you need moderation. You need to have some variety and balance in your life. And some of these people get obsessed with the data or the numbers that their fitness tracker gives them or their smartwatches.
Right, so you can have an obsession about all sorts of things, as you said. I have a friend who's obsessed with cycling. He tries to ride like 800 kilometers a week or something like that.
I have a friend like that, too, in Korea.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting there. I like bicycling, but I don't want to make it an obsession. I like to ride the bike on the river bike paths and stop and chat with people and stuff like that. To me, that's more fun and relaxing. But hey, some people take this stuff very seriously. closely, and they have an obsession about it, especially when we have the data there. What's your average speed per hour? How many miles did you ride? What was your average speed? How many calories did you consume? How many watts did you use to climb up that mountain? Yes, we just love that data. Some people pronounce that word as data. Both are correct. And yes, if you have those smart devices, you'll get lots and lots of that information.
Guys, notice that the preposition for obsession is with. Obsession with something. So among their other uses, fitness trackers can monitor or track. That's the same kind of idea. And present a wide range of data relating to the wearer's sleep cycle. When you're sleeping, you go into deep sleep, REM, light sleep, and then it just keeps going back and forth. You need all those in your sleep to wake up refreshed. So people can then recall the data from storage and chart it over time. Now, this is something I don't do. I look at the night before, and that's good. I've never gone back and looked at a whole week or a month before. I don't really care. I just want to know how many hours I slept that night. So some people take all of those numbers and figures and then put it into, say, an Excel spreadsheet. And they see, over the year, when they were sleeping more hours or getting more deep sleep. Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. That's not something I would do. We're going to talk more about this, guys, but this is probably a good time to take a break. We're going to listen to our Chinese teacher and then we'll be back.
各位同学大家好，我是 Patrick 老师。不晓得大家昨天睡得好不好？老师会这样子问，是因为我们今天要讲解的单元是篇章结构，而这个单元通常都是比较烧脑的。如果前一天晚上睡得好的话，我们今天学习篇章结构应该会轻而易举。那如果同学睡得不是那么好，我想问问大家，你是不是有戴智慧型手表？你是否要监测一下自己的睡眠状态？不过，请同学注意，虽然智慧型手表可以帮我们监测我们的睡眠状态，也不要太过于完全相信它所提供的数据，然后变得更加的焦虑。很多人戴了智慧型手表，最主要是想要了解自己的健康状态，其中一项就是睡眠状况。不过这些便利科技其实一开始要帮我们找出潜在睡眠问题。有些人太过于在意这些数据，反而呢变成了他们的睡眠障碍。那接下来我们就直接来看怎么解题。首先请同学在解题之前回想一下老师以前教给大家的解题技巧是什么。篇章结构最重要的就是回填的句子要和前后文连贯，文意概念上要承先启后。请大家谨记8字真言：前后连贯，文意通顺。秉持着这个原则答题，老师相信任何难题都可以迎刃而解。好，我们先看第一题。前一句提到，如果带着智慧型手表，生活中会有更多数字围绕着你。后一句则是有个新症状叫做完美睡眠主义症。如果我们太过在意智慧型装置提供的健康数据，就会发生这个问题。现在请大家看一下4个选项，哪个符合我们的8字真言前后连贯、文意通顺的原则呢？正确答案的句子文意应该要提到 fitness tracker or smart watch， 后面所提的新型睡眠问题应该也要在这个句子里面有所提及。我们看一下这4个选项，发现选项 C These devices 指的这些装置就是健康追踪器、智慧手表。They can also create problems. Problems 带出后面的 a new condition。所以第一个空格我们选 C。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue with our lesson for today. We're talking about smartwatches and maybe getting a little bit too obsessed with the information to such a point that you actually lose sleep, and that condition is called Orthosomnia. Okay, ortho again means straight, like if you're going to get braces on your teeth, that is orthodontics. You're going to the dentist to get braces or some kind of treatment so that your teeth can be straight. So again, this is just trying to be obsessed with the numbers there because you've got that smartwatch and it's providing you with all that information. And yes, you get to such a point that you want to collect that data, you want to recall it, to remember it, and then you want to chart it over time. I think that's referring to the app in the phone that can actually take all the information and then give you all these charts so you can kind of look at it over time to see how much sleep you've had over the last year or so. But yeah, this can be a little bit overly obsessive. That's something you haven't really done yourself yet, Stephanie. You just want, what do you want to use it for? Just to measure
see
sleep?
How many hours I slept the night before.
And that's it. You don't want to have this big analysis. Like, you sleep X number of hours during December versus February. You know, what are you going to do about that? It's stuff. So in any case here, the next sentence here says, however, there are two crucial ways this can go wrong. Okay, crucial just means key, very important here, something that you need to consider. If you don't consider this thing, it can represent the failure of something. So it's very crucial, okay? Doing good market research is crucial if you want to open a restaurant. Otherwise, it's going to fail. You won't have any business. It's crucial that you do that research. So here's some crucial ways that this can go wrong by charting that data over time.
Yeah, so crucial is often used when you're talking about a decision or you're looking at something that's quite critical. So what you do is going to determine whether this helps you or hurts you. So for one thing, it's hard to tell if the data collected is accurate. That's true. And here's another. The trackers often present their data without thorough context. Context is they just give you numbers. If they don't tell you what those numbers mean and how they interrelate, then sometimes it's not very valuable at all. One of the things my fitness tracker will tell me, though, is the average for people my age who are female. So I can see if I'm hitting that benchmark. Benchmark is just the average of everybody in my age group and my gender. So that helps. That's some context. But if all they do is just give you numbers, you don't know how to really interpret them or read them. It says here it's easy for users to misinterpret and draw the wrong conclusions. To misinterpret means, MIS means bad. Remember that. Bad interpret. So bad interpretation. You don't interpret it the right way. It's incorrect. The way you're looking at it. And notice here, guys, we often, almost always, will use the verb draw to draw a conclusion or draw the wrong conclusion. So if you use misinterpret, maybe you are dating somebody and your boyfriend makes a comment, but you misinterpret it. You think he's criticizing you, but he's really not. So sometimes you see something or you see some figures and you make the wrong judgment about it. That's misinterpreting something.
Yeah, this seems to happen mostly in heterosexual relationships. Yeah, he said something and she misinterpreted it and vice versa. So, yes, that can happen sometimes.
I think you mean romantic relationships.
Especially, yes, indeed, romantic relationships of any gender. But in any case, yes, the users can misinterpret that data. Yeah, there's a lot of things that could affect your sleep patterns. You have a big presentation the next day and you're nervous about that, or the weather's been bad.
True.
It's cold in your room or something. You had too much tea the night before or something. None of that is taken into consideration when you collect all that information. So here in the next paragraph it says, incorrect conclusions about unreliable data result in unnecessary worry. So yeah, you might have some readings that say, hey, you lost some sleep last week, you know, something's wrong with you. So yes, ironically, that will cause you to sleep less. Okay, so yeah, you're worried about getting enough sleep and the data says you aren't getting enough sleep and that makes you nervous, and as a result, you end up losing more sleep. So that's ironic. It's totally the opposite of what you expected. exhausted.
Yeah, the more anxiety someone has about sleep, the harder it is for them to even fall asleep. This is true. So anxiety is that worry that people will have. It's kind of being nervous, you're uneasy. You have anxiety if you have a test the next day, or maybe a big presentation in front of your boss. Those things will bring on anxiety. That's the noun form. The adjective form is anxious. So if you are anxious, there's something you're nervous or worried about. So that can actually make it very hard for you to fall asleep. This creates a vicious cycle that interferes with people's daily lives. Vicious is often used to talk about maybe an animal is vicious. They're very aggressive and they want to bite you, or they're really kind of mean dogs. But here we're describing a vicious cycle. This is a very, very popular phrase. A vicious cycle means any step you take to solve a problem actually makes the original problem worse. So it's like you can't get out of this circle. So it is a cycle because a cycle is a circle, remember? So it's steps you take or a series of steps you take to fix the original problem actually makes that problem worse. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, poverty can be a vicious cycle. If you're working as a delivery person or something and you need to work hard to make some money to get ahead, but you're driving your scooter too fast and you end up having an accident or something, that can set you back again and you just keep going in circles. You just never get ahead. So yes, this creates a vicious cycle that will interfere with your daily life and that will cause people to suffer high anxiety, poor sleep, and fatigue. And fatigue, of course, is the state or situation in which you're tired all the time. You can say, I'm fatigued. You add a D to that word there, which basically means, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted.
So what's worse? Some experience poor concentration and even insomnia. Insomnia itself is a condition where people can't sleep well. Moving on to the final paragraph, a primary cause of this condition is that people trust the data given by their devices more than their own bodies. Oh, I would trust my own body before my fitness tracker. Doctors advise people affected by orthosomnia to take it easy. Don't obsess about the numbers the devices are giving them. Instead, it's better to remember the fundamental elements of good sleep. We're going to talk about what those are. I read about them all the time because I think, maybe I'm doing something wrong. I need to sleep better. Fundamental means some of the basic things that you really need to do. So basic elements of good sleep. We're going to talk about what those are. Some of the fundamental elements of learning a language would be studying every day, trying to speak it, listening to it, practicing it with someone who will give you some feedback. Those are fundamental elements of learning a different language.
Yeah, here it's being used as an adjective, but it could be a noun, the fundamentals, the basic knowledge for some area of study. Like the fundamentals of music, learning the scales and arpeggios and stuff like that. Those are some of the fundamentals. But yes, these are the fundamental elements of good sleep. Yeah, just get yourself a good night's sleep and don't worry too much about the data. A consistent routine that allows for adequate sleep will reliably return good results. So yeah, just basically make sure you have this consistent routine, okay? Don't drink coffee or tea too late in the day. Don't work too hard. Don't get too nervous about things, etc., etc. Be consistent. Always try to get the same amount of sleep every night, and then you'll have good results, and you don't need the fitness tracker. So here, consistent just means don't change, do the same thing every time. You need to be consistent, for example, if you're practicing your basketball skills. Okay, practice for the same amount of time every day, and you'll, of course, get better. Now, here in the next sentence, it says, people should also spend about an hour relaxing before going to bed. Yeah, don't go to bed when you're all nervous and still not really relaxed yet. So yeah, sit around, relax, maybe do a little reading, chat with your family members or something like that. Try to stay off those electronic devices because the lighted screen will probably keep you awake longer than necessary.
Okay, so you need to understand your limitations. Limitations are things that stop you or restrict you from doing what you want to do. Maybe it's some inability you have or some sort of deficiency you have, something that you're not good at, a limitation. I understand that I'm really not very tall. It's a limitation if I want to be a good basketball player. Just doesn't work for me. So understanding these smart devices, whether it's a fitness tracker or a smartwatch, you need to know that they're not perfect. They have limitations or things they can't do. And those will stop you or stops them from becoming a burden. Don't rely on those so much. Just use them as a tool and then move on.
Yep, and you'll all get along really well. I'm confident of that. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Let's listen once again to our Chinese teacher.
好，同学，我们接着来解后面的3题。第2题，请同学看到，在第2个空格之前 ，However, there are 2 crucial ways this can go wrong. 这边告诉我们，其实很有可能会有2种情况导致呢睡眠反而产生更严重的问题。第一个问题的开头，我们用 for one thing， 要说明第2个问题的时候，我们可以说 for another。第2个问题是什么？所以第2题我们选 B， 请同学记住 for one thing 常常呢会和 for another 搭档。接下来我们看到第3段，第3段这个文意主要是在讲我们到底戴了智慧型手表监测自己的睡眠状态是怎么样产生恶性循环的，主要因为错误解读不完全可靠的数据，造成焦虑，担心自己睡眠品质不佳，越焦虑越难入睡，睡得越不好。第3格前一句This creates a vicious cycle that interferes with people's daily lives, causing them to suffer high anxiety, poor sleep, and fatigue. 既然是恶性循环，就应该是一连串的负面影响，包括高度焦虑、睡眠品质低落、疲劳。考量文意连贯通顺，第3个空格应该延续说明穿戴装置的负面影响。选项 A, What's worse? 更糟的是。有些使用者还有注意力无法集中、失眠的问题，这当然是一个负面影响，所以第3格我们选 A。好，那在这里呢，也请同学特别注意到同个段落里面有个片语值得注意，就是 interfere with。这个片语呢是干扰、干预、打乱、破坏的意思。老师想要提供给大家一个跟我们2020年所遭遇到的困境有关的例句。The COVID-19 pandemic has interfered with almost every aspect of our lives. 新冠肺炎的疫情几乎打乱了我们生活的各个层面。好，最后一题，第4段是医生给的建议，希望睡得好，最好要记住良好睡眠习惯。良好睡眠有哪些基本要素？在第4格的前一句 Instead, it's better to remember the fundamental elements of good sleep.空格下一句以 also 点出另一项，睡前放松1小时。从这里我们知道，空格也是在说明要怎么做才能睡得好。选项 D， 作息规律才能得到好的睡眠结果。因此，第4格我们选 D。谢谢大家，这是我们针对篇章结构所做的说明。
That's it for today, and we wish you the best of health in your lives. And yeah, don't rely too much on those smartwatch devices, especially when you're checking how much sleep you need. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson. Thank you for joining us. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Bye.
Bye.